Hello everybody, welcome to GISE Pathshala Social Science Grade 8. Chapter is When the People Rebel 1857 and after the revolt of 1857 is there, and this is counted as one of the major event in the history of India. Revolt against the Raj. Now a very large number of people began to believe that they have a common enemy and rise up against the enemy at the same time. See, a very large number of people began to believe like that. After 100 years of conquest and administration, the company faced a massive rebellion that started in May 1857 and threatened the company's very presence in India. See, after the 100 years of rule, now how the people were against the company, that people the company was also facing some of the problem. Company was afraid that all the people are against. Sepoy munited in several places beginning from Meerut, and a large number of people from different sections of society rose up in rebellion. Some regard it as the biggest armed resistance to colonialism in 19th century in the world. A unity becomes a popular revolt. From Meerut to Delhi. On 29th March 1857, a young soldier Mangal Pandey was hanged to death for attacking his officers in Barakpur. Some days later, some Sipais of the regiment at Meerut refused to do the army drill using the new cartridge, which was suspected to begin coated with the fat of cow and pig. See, the cartridge was suspected to begin coated with cow or pig, with the fat of cows or meat. So soldiers were not agree because it was against their religious things, so that they were not ready to use that cartridge, because from mouth they have to open the cartridge. So they are thinking that this was not proper as per the religious things. 85 sepoys were dismissed from service and sentenced to 10 years in jail for disobeying their officers. See, they were sentenced to jail for disobeying their officer. This happened on 9th May 1857. See, the Great March. The soldier decided to make the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar as their leader. See, the response of the other Indian soldiers in Meerut was quite extraordinary. On 10th May, the soldier marched to jail in Meerut and released the imprisoned sepoys. They attacked and killed the British officers. They captured the guns and ammunition and set fire to the buildings and properties of the British. Declared wars on the Firangis. The soldiers were determined to bring an end to their rule in the country. Soldiers were so firm that they want to. Now they want that didn't want your rule in India. But who would rule the land itself? Instead, the soldiers and the had an answer to question that Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar. See, now soldiers were against all the Britishers and they said that we didn't want the rule of these Britishers. We want our ruler. Then the question came, then who ruled? Who will be the ruler? Then immediately the answer came, our ruler Bahadur Shah Zafar. So soldiers decided to make the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar as their leader. The sepoy of the Meerut rode all night of 10th May to reach Delhi in the early hours of next morning. The regiment stations in Delhi also rose up in rebellions. The British officers were killed, arms and ammunition were seized, and buildings set on fire. The soldier forced their way in the Red Fort and convinced Bahadur Shah Zafar and proclaimed him as their leader. What soldiers did? Soldier proclaimed Bahadur Shah Zafar as their leader. On 10th May, the soldiers marched to the jail in the Meerut and released the imprisoned Sipais. They attacked and killed the British officers also. They captured guns and ammunition and set fire to the buildings and properties of the British and declared the war on Firangis. The soldiers were determined to bring an end to their rule in the country. See that these are the leaders. The British had not expected to this happen. They thought that the disturbance caused by the issue of the cartridge would die down. Means Britishers were thinking this issue will not create any problem. For some days they will say, but afterwards the things will be proper. But it didn't work like that. Bahadur Shah Zafar's decision to bless the rebellion changed the entire situation dramatically. Often when people see an alternative possibilities, they feel inspired and enthusiastic. It gives the courage and hope and confidence to act. See, these are some of the leaders. Now the company decided to repress the revolt with all its might. They brought reinforcement from England, passed new laws so that the rebels could be convinced with ease, and then moved them into the centers of the revolt, them moved from the center of revolt. Delhi was recaptured from the rebel forces in September 1857. The last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, was tried in court and sentenced to life imprisonment. See what happened? That all the Sipahis wanted Bahadur Shah Zafar to become the ruler, but what Britishers did? They tried in the court and sentenced to life imprisonment. Were shot dead before his eyes. His sons were shot dead before his eyes. He had his wife Begum Zinat Mog read to prison in October 1858. Bahadur Shah Zafar died in Bengal in November 1862. Now these were the things happened with Bahadur Shah Zafar. Now the Britishers had to fight for 2 years to suppress the massive popular rebellion. Lucknow was taken in March 1858. Rani Lakshmibai was defeated and killed in June 1858. Tatyar Tope was captured, tried and killed in April 1859. The British tried their best to win back the journey of the people. Nevertheless, hundreds of the sepoys but the Nawabs were tried to and hanged. Tried and hanged. See, many of the things happened. Many the rulers were there. Many leaders were there. So they worked for the things, but the Britishers were not allowed them to do all such type of things. The Britishers were greatly outnumbered by the rebel forces. A situation was widespread. Popular rebellion developed in the region of Awadh, in particular on 6th August 1857, and find a telegram sent by the colonial Taylor. One men are crowded by the number of opposed to them and the endless fighting. Every village is held against us. The zamindars have to rise to oppose us. See, many things happen. People were also interested. People also took part, and people were ready for all the things because all are having the one view that the Britishers were our enemies. The British regained control of the country by the end of 1859. See, from 1857 all things started. In between the things was on the top, the rebellion was on the top, but after doing the controlling all the things, at last Britishers controlled by the end of 1859, but they could not carry on ruling the land with the same policies anymore, but they have to change some of their policies. Some important changes were introduced by the British. The British Parliament passed a new act in 1858 and transferred the power of the East India Company to the British Crown in order to ensure a more responsible management in Indian affairs. A member of British cabinet was appointed Secretary of State of India and made responsible for all matters related to the government of India. See, for government of India, one person he appointed. He was given a council to advise him called the Indian Council. The Governor General of India was given the title of Viceroy. That is a personal representative in the crown. That is a personal representative in the crown. So now that the things were changed. What happened? Just as victories against the British had earlier encouraged rebellion, the defeat of the rebel forces encouraged destruction. The British also tried their best to win back the loyalty of people. See, British also tried, because during this time Britishers were afraid, because all the people were together. Britishers were afraid that how to sustain here now. They have to think proper way. They announced rewards for loyal landholders would be allowed to continue to join the traditional rights over their lands. Those who had rebelled were told that if they submitted to the British and if they had not killed any white people, they would remain safe and neither rights and claims to land would not be denied. Nevertheless, hundreds of Sipai rebels, Nawabs, and Rajas were tried and hung. Then also many were tried and hung. And this type of the new policies Britishers decided. Through these measures, the British government accepted direct responsibility for ruling India. All ruling chiefs of the country were assured that their territory will never be annexed in future. See, previously the territories were annexed, but now they gave the surety that their no territory would be annexed. They were allowed to pass on their kingdoms to their heirs, including their adopted sons. See, Rani Lakshmi Bai and all lost their lives and their kingdom because of the annexation, and Britishers are not ready for to accepting their adopted son, but now they passed this type of rules also. They were made to acknowledge the British Queen as their sovereign paramount. It was decided that the portion of Indian soldier in the army would be reduced and the number of European soldiers would be increased. It was also decided that instead of re-recruiting soldiers from Awadh, Bihar, Central India and South India, more soldiers would be recruited from among the Gurkhas, Sikhs and Pathans. See, now this type of change in the army also they brought. The land and the property of Muslims were confiscated on a large scale and they were treated with suspicion and hostility. The British believed that they were responsible for the rebellion in a big way. The British decided to respect the customary religious and social practices of the people of India. To respect, see, Britishers decided to respect the customary religious and social policies of the people of India. Policies were made to protect the landlords and the zamindars and give them security of rights over their land. See, all the regarding the lands and all problems were there. The security were given because now the changes should be there, because British government was knowing that we should see properly to the people, otherwise again the people will rebel against the Britishers. Because this time in 1857 what happened, all the people were against Britishers and it was very hard for the Britishers to sustain. Anyhow, during that time, lack of some of the things Britishers sustained in India. Otherwise, historians were saying that during that time only in 1857 Britishers would left the our country. Thank you.